My greedy sister demanded I pay off her credit card debt because families should always share wealth. When I refused, she secretly maxed out a loan in my name and spent it on a lavish shopping spree. At the family gathering, she raised a toast to living the good life. I stood up and said, "Let's talk about identity theft." I never thought my own sister would steal from me. I knew she was irresponsible, selfish, and completely incapable of handling her own finances. But I never expected her to commit a felony just because she thought she deserved my money. This is a long one, but if you've ever had a spoiled, entitled sibling who thought the world owed them something, you'll understand exactly why I did what I did. I have always been the responsible one in my family. I worked hard, got decent grades, and landed a well-paying job in finance. By the time I was 30, I had a stable career, a house, and a solid credit score. Then there's my younger sister, Becca. Becca was never interested in stability. She bounced between jobs, relationships, and hobbies like they were seasonal trends. One year she was totally into yoga and dropped thousands on classes and gear. The next, she was destined to be a fashion influencer and spent all her money on designer brands she couldn't afford. Somehow, it was never her fault when she ran out of money. Either the system was unfair, or people just didn't appreciate her vision. And when things got bad, she always had a safety net, our parents. They spoiled her rotten. Any time she got in over her head, my parents would swoop in and bail her out. Credit card maxed out? They'd pay it. Rent overdue? They'd cover it. She never faced consequences, and it ruined her. I refused to play along. I never gave her money. I never covered her bills. I never felt bad when she whined about being broke. And that made me the villain. A few months ago, Becca called me. Becca. Ryan! How's my favorite big brother? Me. What do you want? Becca. Wow, rude. Can't I just call to catch up? She made small talk for a few minutes, then got to the point. Becca. So, funny story. I kinda maxed out my cards again. Me. Shocking. Becca. Come on, Ryan. You make good money. What's a few $1,000s to you? She wanted me to pay off her credit card debt. Apparently, she had accidentally overspent while treating herself to a mental health vacation in Bali. And she had no way to pay it back. Becca. Family helps family. Me. Not when family is irresponsible. Becca. So selfish. If I had money, I'd help you. Me. No, you wouldn't. You'd blow it on designer shoes. She got pissed and hung up. I assumed that was the end of it. I was very wrong. A month later, I got an email from my bank. Your new loan of $25,000 has been approved. My stomach dropped. I never applied for a loan. I checked my credit report, and there it was, a $25,000 loan in my name, taken out online 3 weeks ago. I called the bank immediately. Me. I never applied for this loan. Bank rep. It was done online with your social security number. Me. I didn't do it. I asked for more details. The application had all my information, but the email listed wasn't mine. It was Becca's. I drove straight to my parents' house. Becca was in the living room, watching TV without a care in the world. I held up my phone, showing her the loan details. Me. What the hell is this? Becca, barely looking up. Oh, that? Don't freak out. Me. You stole my identity. Becca, rolling her eyes. It's not stealing when it's family. She actually said that. Like taking out a massive loan in someone else's name was no big deal. Me. This is fraud. This is a crime. Becca, scoffing. Relax. I was gonna pay it back. Me. How? You don't even have a job. Becca. You make 6 figures. You wouldn't even miss it. I saw red. Me. So you just took my money because you felt entitled to it? Becca. I knew you'd say no if I asked. Unbelievable. Me. You're going to fix this. Becca, laughing. Oh my God, Ryan. You're so dramatic. That's when my parents walked in. Mom. What's going on? Becca, fake crying. Ryan's being horrible to me. Me. Your daughter stole my identity and took out a $25,000 loan in my name. Silence. Then my mother sighed. Mom. Ryan, she's family. Can't you just let this go? I could not believe what I was hearing. Me. Are you serious? She committed fraud. Mom. She made a mistake. Me. A felony is not a mistake. Dad. Let's talk about this calmly. Me. No. She fixes this now, or I press charges. Becca freaked out. Becca. You wouldn't. Me. Watch me. She refused to pay it back. She had already spent it. Designer clothes. Jewelry. A Rolex. I felt sick. Me. Where's the money? Becca. It's gone. Just like that. Gone. I walked out. If my parents weren't going to hold her accountable, I would. I didn't tell anyone what I was planning. A few weeks later, we had a family dinner at a fancy restaurant for my parents' anniversary. Becca showed up, drenched in luxury. She had no shame. Halfway through dinner, she stood up, raised her glass, and smirked. Becca. To living the good life. I smiled. Me. Let's talk about identity theft. The table fell silent. Becca froze. I pulled out a stack of documents, bank records, loan papers, police reports. Me. Since Becca loves the good life, let's discuss how she got it. I watched the color drain from her face. Nobody moved. Nobody spoke. Becca's face turned a sickly shade of white, her hand gripping her champagne glass so tightly I thought it might shatter. My parents looked between us, confused, nervous, and most of all, desperate to keep this from becoming a scene. It was already too late for that. Dad. Ryan, what are you talking about? Me. I'm talking about the $25,000 loan that Becca took out in my name. Without my permission. That's called identity theft. Aunt Susan gasped. My uncle set down his fork. Even my usually oblivious cousin stopped scrolling through her phone. Becca laughed, but it was hollow. Becca. Oh my God, Ryan, you're being so dramatic. She was still trying to play it off. Me. Dramatic? You stole my identity and put me in debt for $25,000, and I'm dramatic? I slid the bank documents across the table. Me. Here. See for yourselves. Dad picked up the papers. Mom hesitated before looking over his shoulder. As they read, their faces changed. Dad's jaw tightened. Mom's eyes widened. Becca grabbed her drink and downed it in one gulp. Mom. Becca. Tell me this isn't true. Becca. It's not a big deal. She actually said that. Not. I didn't do it. Not. I'm sorry. Just, it's not a big deal. I wanted to throw my chair across the room. Me. It's a felony. A crime. If anyone else did this, they'd be in jail. The whole restaurant was watching now. Becca looked around and realized she had lost control of the situation. So she did what she always did. She played the victim. Becca. Ryan, I was going to pay it back. You didn't need to embarrass me like this. Me. You weren't going to do anything. The money is gone. Becca. So what? You make good money. Why do you even care? Why do I even care? I laughed. A bitter, humorless laugh. Me. You seriously think this is about the money? I turned to our parents. Me. She doesn't feel bad. She doesn't even understand what she did wrong. Becca crossed her arms. Becca. Because I didn't do anything wrong. And there it was. The entitlement. The arrogance. The belief that she could do whatever she wanted and someone else would clean up her mess. Not this time. Aunt Susan spoke first. Aunt Susan. Becca, sweetie, this is serious. You could go to jail for this. Becca. Ugh. You sound like Ryan. Uncle Mark, the most soft-spoken person in the family, put down his fork and shook his head. Uncle Mark. Kid, this isn't just messing up. This is fraud. I work in insurance. People get arrested for this. Becca's face twitched. She thought they would take her side. Mom rubbed her temples like this was just another family argument. Mom. Ryan, maybe we can work something out privately. I laughed. Me. Oh, now you want to handle this privately? You weren't saying that when you told me to let it go. Becca's breathing got shaky. She wasn't used to losing. Becca. Okay. Fine. You got your little revenge moment. Now can we move on? I took out one more piece of paper. A copy of the police report. Becca's entire body stiffened. Becca. What is that? Me. A report I filed with the police. Mom gasped. Mom. Ryan. You didn't. Me. Of course I did. What did you think I was going to do? Let her ruin my life and walk away? Becca's hands shook. Becca. You wouldn't send your own sister to jail. I held her gaze. Me. Try me. Before Becca could scream, cry, or run, my uncle, the insurance guy, spoke up. Uncle Mark. Did you say a $25,000 loan? Me. Yeah. Why? His expression changed. Uncle Mark. Ryan, you need to check something. I pulled out my phone. Uncle Mark. Look up your social security number on the dark web. My stomach dropped. Becca stopped breathing. I opened a site that checks data breaches. Typed in my social security number. It had been leaked. Weeks ago. I looked at Becca. Me. Did you get my info from the dark web? She didn't answer. The table was silent. Dad looked horrified. Dad? Becca. Tell me the truth. Becca's lips trembled. Becca. She didn't get the loan by herself. She bought my information off a hacker. She didn't just steal from me. She paid someone to do it. And if my social security number was out there, I wasn't just a victim of Becca's fraud. I was a target for identity theft. The damage might be way worse than I thought. Becca's eyes darted to the exit. She was going to run. I stood up first. Me. Sit. Down. She froze. Me. You're going to tell me everything you did. Becca swallowed hard. For the first time all night, she looked scared. Becca's hands were shaking. For the first time in her entire life, she had nowhere to run. No way to manipulate her way out. No parents to take the blame for her. Me. You're going to tell me everything. Right now. She swallowed. Becca. I didn't mean for it to get this bad. Me. You didn't mean to commit identity theft? You didn't mean to put my financial future at risk? You didn't mean to literally pay someone to steal my information? The whole restaurant was dead silent. Mom. Becca, tell the truth. Right now. Becca glanced around, looking for an escape. There was none. Becca. I didn't steal it off the dark web. I had a friend do it. My stomach dropped. Me. A friend? Becca. It was just a guy I know. He told me he could help me get a loan. I didn't know he was actually stealing your information. We all turned to him. Uncle Mark had his arms crossed, looking at Becca like she was the dumbest person alive. Uncle Mark. You're saying this guy just helped you out of kindness? Did you pay him? Becca hesitated. Becca. Yes. Me. With what money? She looked down. Me. Becca. Becca. I used Mom's credit card. The table erupted. Mom. You did what? Dad. Becca. Becca flinched. Becca. It wasn't that much. Just a few $100s. Me. So not only did you steal from me, but you scammed Mom too? She froze. That's when Aunt Susan, usually the most quiet, non-confrontational person in the family, spoke. Aunt Susan. Brian, how do you know she only took out one loan? My chest tightened. I pulled out my phone. Opened my credit report. There wasn't just one loan. There were 3. One for $25,000. One for $15,000. One for $10,000. $50,000 total. My vision blurred. Me. Becca. What the hell have you done? She didn't respond. I scrolled further. There were credit cards under my name. Credit lines I had never opened. Thousands of dollars in debt. All in my name. Me. This wasn't just one mistake. I turned my screen toward her. Me. You've been doing this for months. Becca's mouth opened and closed like a fish. I turned to my parents. Me. You still want to tell me to let it go? Mom looked pale. Dad looked like he was about to pass out. Mom. I didn't know. Dad. Becca. What have you done? Becca broke. She started crying, ugly crying. Loud, gasping sobs that sounded fake. Becca. I just needed the money. I thought I could pay it back before you noticed. But I kept spending and... She looked around, begging for sympathy. No one gave her any. Me. So you just kept going? She sniffled. Becca. I thought maybe I could take out another loan and pay off the first one and... Uncle Mark. Oh, for the love of God, she's running a Ponzi scheme. Aunt Susan. You were trying to fix fraud, with more fraud? Becca nodded. Becca. It got out of control. Me. You ruined my credit. She flinched. I checked my credit score. It had dropped almost 200 points. I felt sick. Me. Becca, do you have any of the money left? She froze. Me. Becca. Becca. No. It was all gone. Me. You stole $50,000 from me and spent it all? Becca. Why, yeah. I leaned back. Took a deep breath. Then I said the words she had been dreading all night. Me. I'm pressing charges. Becca screamed. Becca. No. You can't. Me. Yes. I can. And I will. Becca. MOM. Dad! Stop him! Dad! I can't! Mom was crying now. But not for Becca. Mom! You've gone too far, Becca! Becca was shaking. Becca. Ryan! Please! I stood up. Me. You didn't care about me when you stole my money. You didn't care about me when you ruined my credit. So why should I care about you now? She collapsed into her chair, sobbing. I turned to my parents. Me. You always cleaned up her messes. This time you can't. I walked out of the restaurant. Becca's screams followed me out the door. I walked out of the restaurant, but I didn't get far. Dad. Ryan, wait. I stopped just outside the doors, gripping the railing so hard my knuckles turned white. The night air was cool, but my skin burned with anger. Dad and Mom followed, both looking wrecked. Mom had tears streaking her makeup. Dad looked about 10 years older than when we walked in. Mom. Please. Just talk to her. Me. Talk to her? Talk to her? She stole $50,000 from me, MOM. Mom flinched. Dad let out a long, exhausted sigh. Dad. Ryan, she's your sister. I laughed. A cold, bitter sound. Me. She's not my sister. Not anymore. At that moment, the doors behind us slammed open. Becca. You selfish! She came storming out, heels clacking against the pavement, eyes wild. She looked unhinged. Becca. How could you do this to me? I turned stunned. Me. How could I do this to you? She got in my face, screaming. Becca. You're ruining my life over a stupid mistake. Me. A stupid mistake? You ran a full-on fraud operation. You scammed our own mother. Mom gasped. Becca's eyes flickered. She had forgotten she confessed that part. Becca. You twisted my words. Dad. No, Becca. You admitted it. We all heard you. Uncle Mark. It's over, kid. You screwed up. Aunt Susan and Uncle Mark had followed us outside. A few other family members hovered near the doors, whispering. Becca looked around desperately, searching for someone, anyone, to defend her. No one did. Becca. But I didn't. She choked on her words. The reality was hitting her. For the first time in her life, she wasn't getting away with it. She wasn't being rescued. She wasn't being forgiven. This wasn't like maxing out a credit card and having Mom pay it off. This wasn't like skipping rent and crashing at a friend's place. This was real. Becca. I didn't mean to. Me. But you did. And now you're going to deal with the consequences. She turned to Dad. Becca. Daddy, please. Dad shook his head. Dad. I can't help you, Becca. Becca's mouth fell open. Becca. What do you mean? Dad. I mean I'm done. I've spent my whole life bailing you out. I won't do it this time. Mom started crying again. Becca staggered backward. Becca. You're choosing him over me? Dad. I'm choosing to stop enabling you. Her hands trembled. Her perfect world was falling apart. I expected her to blow up. To scream, curse, attack. Instead, she did something worse. She collapsed to the ground, sobbing. Not the fake tears she had pulled at dinner. Not the manipulative whining she used to get her way. Real. Gut-wrenching. Sobs. She rocked back and forth, shaking her head. Becca. I don't know what to do. Nobody spoke. For the first time in her entire life, Becca had to sit in her own failure. She didn't have a plan. She didn't have a way out. She didn't have anyone to save her. Mom finally knelt beside her. Mom. Sweetheart. Becca flinched like she expected comfort, but Mom's voice was firm. Mom. You did this to yourself. Becca froze. Mom. We love you. But we won't clean up your mess this time. Becca started shaking her head. Becca. No. No, no, no. Please, Mom. Please. She turned to me. Becca. Ryan. Please. Just don't press charges. I looked at her, really looked at her. For the first time in years, she looked like my little sister again. A lost, scared girl who had never learned how to take responsibility. And that wasn't my problem anymore. Me. I already did. She crumpled. Becca. What happens now? I did press charges. The police investigated. The fraud was clear as day. She was arrested. She got 3 years of probation and was ordered to pay back every cent. But the real punishment? She lost everything. No more credit cards. No more easy bailouts. No more pretending life was a game where she could cheat and restart. She moved in with a friend, until she scammed her, too. Then she was homeless. Mom still talks to her sometimes. Dad is done. And me? I don't regret pressing charges. But sometimes I wonder if my parents hadn't spoiled her, if they had made her face consequences sooner, if she had just taken responsibility once in her life. Would she have ended up here? Maybe. Maybe not. But she made her choices. And I made mine. I haven't spoken to Becca since. I don't plan to. She stole my money, my trust, my peace of mind. I got the money back. But the trust? That's gone forever. And honestly, I'm okay with that.